Namaste and hello. This is your Sanskrit instructor welcoming you back into lesson number 100. Earlier we learned about you were introduced to the imperfect tense. Now we are going to and the case endings for atmanepadi and parasmaipadi, active and the middle voice for the imperfect tense. Now we're going to go over some examples. So our first example will be for a verb in parasmaipadi, and remember the rule that we learned about for the visarg is that the visarg could be, and it was a major note, it could be standing for a final sa or a final ra, and that's what we're seeing here in one of the termination endings. We have sa with the halant for second person singular in the imperfect tense for parasmaipadi type verbs. So we're going to conjugate the verb vish in the imperfect tense. Let us not forget that vish means to enter in Sanskrit. To remind you what the conjugation is. Now this was, vish was in the sixth conjugation, and that was one of the easiest conjugations because nothing really had to happen to it. It didn't take gurna, it didn't take vridhi, nothing really happened to it except you had to add a at the end. So just as a reminder how to conjugate it in the present tense, here it is in the side here. So you had vishati, vishataha, vishanti. I shouldn't have to go over all of them because we know all of the termination endings for the present tense, correct? Ami, avaha, amaha, vishami, vishavaha, vishamaha. Now, let's compare that to the imperfect tense. So these were the termination endings for the imperfect tense. We went over this in the last video. And let's take a look at what happened. So remember the augment a is added. That was the first rule. The augment a was added. It was prefixed. And then you're adding these termination endings. So you end up with, so you could see both of them. I'll set it up this way. So third person singular, you have avishat. You have ta as the termination ending. So you have avishat. So this would be he entered, past tense. He entered, ed. Avishatam, the two of them entered. So keyword here, entered. I shouldn't have to rewrite the pronouns. Third person plural, they all entered, avishan. Then we have second person singular, avishaha, that is replacing the sa according to the rule. Avishaha, the two of them entered. Second person dual, avishatam. The two of them entered. Oh, I'm sorry. So second person singular, avishaha is you entered. Second person dual is the two of you entered. And then second person plural, you all entered, avishata. Then first person singular, I entered, avisham. Second person dual, avishav. Notice that I'm saying avishava instead of avishav because there's not a halant here. So avishava. Then first person plural, we all entered, avishama. So avisham, avishava, avishama. So that is an example of a parasmaipadi type verb to enter. And now we're going to go into so this is the middle voice. No, this is the active voice. Now we're going to go into the middle voice. Remember that the middle voice is atmanepadi in Sanskrit. Termination endings, third person singular, dual, and plural. Ta, itam, and anta. Second person singular, dual, and plural. Tah, itam, and dhwam. First person singular, dual, and plural. I, vahi, and mahi. And the example that we're going to go into today is for the middle voice. Atmanepada means the middle voice. Is lab, to obtain. So remember how this was conjugated in Atmanepadi. Labhate, labhete, labhante, labhase, labhete, labhadhve, labhe, and labhavahe, and labhamahe. Starting from third person to first person. So that is what that table looked like for Atmanepadi type verbs. That's how you would conjugate to obtain in the present tense. And now going to past tense, imperfect tense. Let's take a look at both of the tables here. And we end up with alabhata, because you're adding an remember, before and after the verbal base. So alabhata, alabhetam. Now third person dual is itam. Why did it turn into etam? Remember the vowel sandhi? A or a plus I or E gives us the vowel sign A. So that is what is happening here. You're ending up with alabha, you're ending up with alabha, right? And then the is being combined with the E here, the I here in itam, and it ends up becoming alabhetam instead of alabhitam, because you have the at the end of this pa here. So plus I is going to give you A. So alabhata, alabhetam, and alabhanta. Then you have alabhatah. Then you have again alabhetam, because a or a plus I or E gives you A. That and E is going to combine to give you an atam. And then you have alabhadhwam, alabhe, first person singular, alabhavahi, and alabhamahi. So second person dual and third person dual, these are the ones that we have to keep an eye for, because they start with a vowel and we have to reconsider our vowel sandhis. Notice that, keeping in mind of that, notice that for active, for first person singular, this is a termination that starts with an It's not only third person plural anymore. So you're not adding that anymore to it, and you're just keeping at the end of the verbal base, and you're just going to add this here, so it doesn't become a long So these are the case endings. So what you want to keep in mind is, where do you drop your where do you add your long and you have to make sure that you're adding that with your terminations beginning with a va and ma, and you have to keep in mind your vowel sandhis. Here is both of them side by side, okay, for both parasmaipada and atmanepada. That's with both of them together and both of the termination endings together. You can take a look at that. Also take a look at the difference between imperfect and present side by side as well. That's why I have that table there for you, so it can be convenient. And this is your Sanskrit instructor signing off with a namaste.